Hey guys, this is a mapping video for straight archless brows. This is about 1.5 years old microblading that has faded in a way that looks kind of like a straight archless brow. So we are going to map over it to give it a little bit better arch, a little bit better shape. The other reason I wanted to use her as a mapping example is because she has this very distinctive muscle that pulls in the center of her brows, and it makes it a bit of a challenge. So I want to show you how to problem solve that. So, all right, here we go. I do it. Okay, so first, just start out as always with your center. And we liked where we put our centers last time, so I'm not adjusting that. We just did that to the dimples in the nose, here and here. We're not changing her tail length, but I'm still just gonna actually measure it just to make sure it's really precise. Make sure this is all the way closed down. Okay. And we're gonna take these little circles and put it to the corner of her eye, here and here. We'll mark our arch. Okay, and we want to give this brow just a tiny bit more of a lift. So what I'm gonna do is start here. And we're gonna go here. I'm trying to see where her hair naturally starts. There we go. And you can kind of move this to where it's covering up their natural hair and then place your line. So you know you're including all that natural hair. There we go. And then if this is where the center of your brow is sitting, you do want to make sure that your arch comes above that. So we're gonna want to be here or here, but we'll just see where this ends up. So we're gonna place the tool here, pinch it together, scooch it down, 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 down until we catch our brow bone. So yeah, that looks great. So we're just gonna do that one more time, catch on the brow bone. Perfect. I'm just gonna hold this steady, and you can either hold from here or the side, whatever's kind of easiest. But just mark the brow bone on both sides. And then take your tool and twist. And you're kind of letting go of the brow bone a little bit. You're loosening this just a little bit. And then you're going to twist until, so it's this motion. And so you want to keep the ruler matching your lines here and twist down just like this. And then at this angle, you're going to mark where your tails will end. And then I'm just gonna go ahead and hold here just to show you what that looks like. And again, make sure it's all the way pinched closed because that gives you more stability. And make sure these lines are all where they should be. Okay, so now the thickness of the center is right about, okay, so right about here. So our tails, the apex of our arches, the distance between this and this, we want this to be even a little bit less. So I'm gonna scooch this down to about here. And do our measuring mark here. Perfect. Just do that same thing over here. All right, now we've got all of our lines to be able to freehand this in. I'm gonna start with underneath for some reason. It just seems like a good call. So I'm gonna put one finger here, and pull. Get a good stretch while drawing. Okay, and then this line to this line. Yeah, building this arch up just a little bit bigger is going to be so fun. Right away, I'm seeing that in that stretch this got a little bit thin, so I'm just going to just like that. There we go. Perfect. And we'll just finish this line to this line. And then we've got our map. I do prefer freehanding, that way every single line doesn't turn out like so picture perfect straight. Gives it a little bit more of like a natural movement, I feel like, or if you want to slightly curve anything. Last thing I'm gonna check is just kind of from here to here. Make sure our tails look, because I could be wrong, but I just feel like this one's a tiny bit shorter. Yes, it is. And then I'm gonna check the space between corner for eye and the tail. So it's from here to here. I'm gonna check that over here. And that is the same. So what's happening here, if you look careful, I don't know if you can go overhead, but this brow bone, do you see how this has just a little bit more pop to it than this one? This one's a little bit flatter. And this one has a little bit more, it's just a little bit more pronounced. So from looking straight on, I'm gonna check this. So from corner for eye to the corner of the tail, I'm gonna look at this and kind of examine the distance between that. And then I'm gonna do the same thing over here. That actually looks pretty equivalent. the interesting thing about using this to map to the brow bone is that it's going to give you a similar shape regardless of whether the measurements are perfect or not. It's going to look pretty darn perfect. But still, I'm going to go ahead and just shave off just a teensy tiny little bit off this tail. Nothing major. Just a little bit like this, just a hair or two. And then I'm gonna take my pictures of her outline and just double check. Okay, so first things first, I'm just gonna ever so slightly straighten this one little guy, just like that. And I'm not gonna redraw it yet because I might adjust this stuff. So I'm gonna first focus on the bottom line. And actually, if you could have your eyes open, I'm so sorry. That actually looks fabulous. I'm gonna check here. And if you first kind of start here, now you can see how this dips just slightly. Just slightly. And then from here, it's actually starting to correct. And from here, can you pan to make sure that you can see that? It's pretty much correct. It's just that tiny little bit in the very center. So I'm just going to remove just like this. And I added, after showing the client, I added these little kind of V's. It's just to ever so slightly soften and make it not quite so boxy in that center. Okay, let me just double check this now.